Welcome to the Between Stories, a series where I take you into the in-between chapters that echo through everything you hear on the show. Okay, hello, welcome to the Between Stories. I have a question for you. Have you ever sent a text to the wrong person? You know that feeling where you're like, okay, what if you did that, but you accidentally summoned an entire rescue team? This story is like top 5 moments of shame in my entire life. Like, I'm not even exaggerating when I say that, truly. So this is the story about how I became the person who cried wolf, except I didn't even know I was crying. I didn't even know I was the person, okay? Okay, let's begin. So for those that don't know, I really enjoy ice climbing, and I had a Garmin inReach. These are satellite devices that enable you to call for a rescue if you're somewhere without cell service, which is most places ice climbing. Then I later got a Garmin smartwatch, which are like Apple Watches, right? They track your sleep and your steps and your fitness and stuff. So I got one of these and it said, like, do you want to connect this to your inReach? And I was like, oh, like, cool feature. And it asked me to choose emergency contacts. Now, being the responsible person I am, I actually just like randomly texted my childhood best friend and her husband. And I was like, yo, like, will you be my emergency contact? She's like, fuck it, whatever, yeah. Now, did I choose people in a geographically smart place? No. These friends live in San Francisco, California, literally thousands of miles away from where I was living. Literally, they're in the US, okay? Not even close to where I am. Do I give them any instructions about what to do do I even tell them what would happen if, like, what kind of notification they'd get? No, I don't. I don't even know what the watch would do. I think I literally told them, like, but it won't matter. Like, you'll never have to use this. So my climbing partner and I decide we're going to go climb this route. It'll take most of the day to climb. We leave early morning. We'll probably get back at night. And it's a mixed climb, which means it's like a mix of ice and rock. It's a hard climb for me. And this climb is in a pain in the ass part of the valley. Like, it's one of the more remote climbs to get to. There's avalanche risk as you go up, so you want to be mindful of that. So we're doing the hike up really early morning. I just throw my watch and my inReach into my bag. So the SOS feature on inReaches, which call for your rescue, they're very difficult to set off. You have to like open a flap, push down a button pretty hard, and then for a while, and then it sets a counter, like a timer. And then it'll contact the sheriff's office or search and rescue, also called SAR. You'll hear me say SAR throughout the story. But the watch is like beep, beep, SAR team comes out. Like, it's literally like 2 buttons. And I don't know this. So while the watch is in my backpack, it gets like lightly bumped against something probably. And it sets off the emergency notice. And my friends get a text. And the text just says something very vague and cryptic. It just says, like, this person's emergency notification is set off. Here are her coordinates. So they don't know what to do, which is my fault. They don't even know, like, where I climb. So my friends call the search and rescue team, and they're like, our friend's emergency notification went off. We think she likes ice climbing. Then they get them the coordinates. So the SAR team looks at that and they can probably tell right away. They definitely know which valley we're in. They probably know we're ice climbing, and they probably know exactly which climb we're on. So a team deploys to the valley. They identify our vehicle at the trailhead. They start interviewing other climbers who are there. And so they actually run into some people I climb with. And so my friends are worried, and they're giving them information on the type of jacket I wear, the color, and the color helmet I have. So they have a sense of what, I look like right now. They send up drones. Now, meanwhile, while all this is happening, this rescue has begun, I am having the time of my life partying on this ridge. We are having the greatest fucking day. I have no idea what has transpired below me. No idea. By the way, I'm with 2 friends, so it's a party of 3. So as the day continues, we then see helicopters like circling the valley. And one of my climbing partners, he's from this area, grew up there, and he's mad because he's like, oh my God, they're doing like commercial tours for rich people now. That's so fucking annoying. And the helicopters like don't leave. And so then we're like, damn, these are like big tours they're doing. And my climbing partner is so annoyed, he literally flips them off. Now, fortunately, we're in an inlet, like very far away. There's no way anybody could see us, thank God. This is how unaware we were. Those were my rescue helicopters. Now, oddly enough, they were like way on the other side of this valley. So we actually have no idea why, because the SAR team had our coordinates. But anyway, we climb all day. Now we get to the top. You're at the top of this valley. And so I get cell service all of a sudden. And my phone starts blowing up. I have like 30 text messages. And one of the names is this guy who I'd met on Tinder. Don't judge me. That's the app people use there. And he kind of ghosted me, or we ghosted. I don't know. It like kind of ended in a weird way. And so I see his name and like, oh, he didn't ghost me. Yay. And the text just says, your device went off. We're deploying a team of people to rescue you. Let me know ASAP if this is a mistake. The Tinder guy who led the operation. I want to die at this point. Now, you have to understand this background. I struggle with this insecurity that like my entire existence is a burden. I'm like too much. I'm in the way. Like if I stay at a friend's house, I'm like, oh God, sorry. I'm in the way. Sorry. Like I'm just like my existence is burdensome. To find out that I was responsible for the fact that an entire SAR operation and People's Tuesday had become this to deal with me, I felt so bad. The level of shame. So I immediately, from up there, like on the ridge, I call like the sheriff's office equivalent or something. This is not the Tinder guy. And I'm literally like ugly crying, being like, I'm so sorry. I'm safe. Like, please stop the operation. And they're like, oh, no. This was like 10 hours ago. It's fine. Everyone's home. And I was like, what? So this was this moment where I realized like there was nothing I could do. Like I fucked up all this stuff, but it had already started and ended before I could even do something about it or stop it. And he's like the saint of a human. He is so kind. And he's like, this totally happens. You're not the first one. And he said, just call me when you're down. And I'm like, okay. It's pitch black and it's late because I spent a while talking to them. So my two climbing partners, they're simul rappelling. So I'm like alone up there for a bit. And then I rappel down and I realize that I'm rappelling a little bit recklessly. It's easy not to do these checks before you go down and stuff. And I'm not being as mindful as I usually would. And rappelling is like the number one way that climbing accidents happen. And it's because I'm in such a panic. Like for a while, I'm literally like, I don't deserve to be rescued if I'm this stupid. And then this voice while I'm rappelling really quickly is like, hey, you, to me. And I'm like, what? And it's like, if you actually fall right now for real, you do realize they're going to have to deploy a team to get you for real. And you don't fucking deserve that. Like actual thought. I mean, that's what shame does, right? It's just like this overwhelming, you can't even think straight. You're no longer reasonable. You're just like so consumed by it. But it felt like this unworthiness. Search and rescue teams, they are fucking saints. Thank your search and rescue team. They are the greatest people on earth, right? Such an incredible service they provide community. So I all of a sudden am like, whoa, Molly, get it together. Like, you stop rappelling like this. And I start slowing down and like being way more mindful of what I'm doing. Okay. So then at the bottom, I call the sheriff back and I'm like, just apologizing / thanking him again. And he goes, we're actually having this problem across these new devices. They're just total design flaws. Apple Watches are even worse, apparently, and they're going off at ski resorts all the time. So, like, it's a thing, but they just want it to be safe. I'm like, listen, if you have a file on me, put this in, please. Like, if Molly's inReach, if you get any signal from Molly, just like, do not come. Like, let her, I've used up my SAR privileges. I was like, I deserve to just stay out there. That's truly how I felt. So then I contact the Tinder guy who led the fucking rescue. I think he was in the valley. That's all I know. And you could tell he's kind of humorous about it. And he sends me a photo and he's like, is this you? And it's a photo from the drone. And it's me just hanging out at a blaze station. Happy, peaceful, having a good time, at ease. And he was like, we saw that and we knew you probably weren't. You didn't look in distress. So we like went back. He was like, we actually knew it was probably a total false alarm, but they decided to be really conservative and to go just in case. And he says, if it helps, I know people who did this on Everest. I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, oh God, I have to call the friends in San Francisco. I call them and I'm crying again. And I'm like, you guys, I'm so sorry. And they were laughing. They were laughing. And they were like, oh, we want to come visit because we're like best friends with the SAR team. Like they knew their names. They were like, do you know them? They're awesome. You should meet them. Like amid my shame, which didn't really go away, but it did make me realize people might be looking at the situation differently than I was. Later in the week, or maybe it was the next week, I had plans to climb with another friend and I didn't want to bail on him. I didn't feel like I deserved to climb, but I also like weirdly didn't want to bail on him. It was also this weird guilt continuing. Okay, so we're in the canyon. By the way, at this point, I'm not even bringing my inReach. I've disbanded my watch. Like I've gotten back to bringing it, but that's not the moral of the story. You should bring an inReach, but I'm just like scared of everything. We're in the canyon and he sees some friends. And so we go and we talk to them and they start going off about like this rescue that went down and they're talking and they're like, do you know who it was? And he's like, no, but maybe it was this thing. I heard somebody fell over here in this part of the valley. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, like I have the information you guys want. Like I can tell you, but my shameless ass didn't even have the courage to admit anything. I literally just stand there. In my head, I'm not joking, you guys. I actually think like I probably need to move. So with time, I then start coming clean to people and I'm like, yes, I'm the idiot. This experience, though, stays with me. The shame stays with me. But then my friends got married and these are the friends in San Francisco. And they were like having me do a speech at their wedding. And they were like, you should tell this story. And I'm like, oh God, I don't know. But we realize it's also really fucking funny. And it really is a testament to how amazing of friends these people are, that they didn't know anything about it. I gave them no information and they still found a way to make sure I was safe and like help me. Like such good friends, right? So it is a good wedding story. So I'm like, okay. So I tell the story and I'm looking out as I am telling the story and people are laughing so hard, they're literally crying. And suddenly the shame cracked open into something else. Absurdity, connection, relief. So the thing is, for a long time, and I still to this day, like I carried around this story as this mark of how bad of a person I was. Like proof that I was irresponsible or dramatic or just the world's most expensive inconvenience. Like I inconvenienced everyone so much. But when I finally told it out loud, right? Everything. Ugly crying, flipping off helicopters, Tinder rescue guy, like the whole mess. People actually didn't judge me. They connected. And that was almost shocking to me because I believe I should be judged. But it was a way where people saw it and me in the story differently than I saw myself, which was that I had done this like mistake that was unforgivable where people were like, it's okay to laugh. And that almost made me realize if it's okay to laugh, then it's okay to forgive myself. Humor disarms us, doesn't it? And so that's how it's connecting to Brad Jenkins, who was so brilliant in the last episode. It was such a popular episode. And the reason is because he's telling this story where everybody else would have reacted differently, right? Healthcare.gov is on the verge of collapse. And Brad didn't reach for a press release or a public service announcement or a serious Q&A. He reached for Zach Galifianakis. And that episode of Barack Obama getting roasted on Between Two Ferns for 6 minutes may have saved the Affordable Care Act. So if you haven't heard that episode, highly recommend. That's the companion episode to this story. I think you'll enjoy it. Brad Jenkins is one of the funniest people I know, and it was one of the most entertaining conversations I've had. So humor isn't just a nice thing that we need in our lives. It is. It absolutely is. It's also an extraordinary tool. And we can use it both to ignite change and we can use it in our own lives to cope. And we can all probably attest to that in some way. You might not have a story about how you accidentally deployed a search and rescue team on yourself, but you probably have a story that felt so difficult in the moment. And now being able to laugh at it changed the way you feel about it, changed the way you think about it, changed your ability to move forward. That's the power I'm talking about here. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode of Full Spectrum. Some details in the stories shared on Full Spectrum have been changed to protect privacy. If this episode made you think of someone, send it their way. 70% of podcast growth comes from word of mouth. So anything you can do to help share Full Spectrum with your community will be a tremendous help for us as we get started. And I've got one ask for you. Hit the follow button and leave us a 5-star review. It helps us grow the show and bring on more of the guests you'll want to hear from. All right, there's more to come. There always is. I'll see you in the next episode.